there's three levels of learning, right? So there's one, like receiving the information, reading it, hearing it, whatever. The second level of learning is then to do it, to take action on that information you received. And then the third level is to go teach it.
So really, just what's about the markets that are around Bitcoin itself. So
Bitcoin
people
as an
see
asset.
Bitcoin as the asset, but then there's everything. There's the layers that go past
To
it.
be able to use it.
Yep.
So oil's an asset, but like, how do we use oil unless we turn it into something that we can use it for, right? So no, there's something there, and then always happy to talk about the politics side of it, is if you want to jump into that. And
Oh, we got some other stuff going on. Okay.
yeah, always happy to talk about the politics side of Bitcoin. We can talk about the candidates running on it.
Education. You've done it well on the. You've really leaned into educating your audience
Yeah.
on understanding monetary policy, and then it's the next step, right? It's like Mark Moss 101, then Mark Moss 102, 201. And
Well, something I was telling them is like, being a content creator, it's like, where's your focus?
Yeah.
And I spent the last couple of years like really pounding the table on the macro side of things, trying to understand money and how markets work. And now on the fun side, I'm starting to work with so many of these companies. So now my head is kind of getting more into the business side of things. And so naturally, just my content is starting to kind of turn that way a little bit. My content really hasn't started, but my focus has. So now I've been thinking about how I can strategically start to move my content over to that side.
So you're trying to get you essentially want your content aligned with whoever's problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah, and where my head's at, right? If I'm creating content, what am I thinking about?
Right.
It should be, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's three levels of learning, right? So there's one, like receiving the information, reading it, hearing it, whatever. The second level of learning is then to do it, to take action on that information you received. And then the third level is to go teach it, right? So it's like we're in these businesses, we're receiving information, we're running experiments, we're doing it. And then if I can go explain it, teach it, share it, that helps me to learn it better, and then helps me to kind of distill it better, where I can go back and reiterate again on it.
So when you do, this interview's been rolling for a little bit.
All right, here we go.
All right, so Mark, when you do as an introduction, what do you go as, like, you've done market disruptors, you've done.
It sort of depends on the audience that I'm talking to.
Okay.
So market disruptors is sort of the brand that I've been running on since the early days of crypto, just because I looked at Bitcoin as and cryptocurrencies as that was disrupting markets. So that's sort of like the brand that I run under. My conference was run under that. I have a nationally syndicated radio show. It's called the Mark Moss Show, just under my name. And then my fund, Bitcoin Opportunity Fund, is now a fund that we've raised money for, and then we're investing into businesses. So here, like when I spoke earlier, I had them put on my title, Bitcoin Opportunity Fund.
Okay. All right. Is that and then you've been built? Is that taking most of your focus now?
No, it's not taking most of my focus. I am a partner in the fund. I'm not the managing partner, so it doesn't take the majority of my focus. No.
Who are you doing that with?
That's James Lavish, Greg Foss, Larry Lepard, Corey Clipston from Swan, and Dave Foley.
Oh, it's good. Good.
We kind of have a dream. We kind of have a dream team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it helped to attract some good investment capital, as well as good deal flow to come in.
Excellent. And you're using you're using the show. You're going to get the deals coming in the door, and then you get to decide how are you making the decisions for what types of deals you're getting into. Is it miners? Is it hosting? Is it?
So we have two managing partners. So they kind of make the decision. However, we have a committee. So each week we have a standing call each week, and we kind of, here's the deal flow. Here's what we're seeing. Here's kind of where we're looking at. Hey, these are deals that we're evaluating. We kind of vote on it. But at the end of the day, the managing partners are kind of making a call on that.
Okay.
As far as the different types, our fund is a little bit different than the traditional venture cap funds that we have in the space today. Trammell Venture Partners, 1031, Ego Death, etc. Those are great funds, and you should definitely consider those. But they're long only, and they're typically 7 to 10 year lockups. So hopefully in a decade, you might find out if your money is worth anything or not. Maybe in a decade you'll get some money back, right? And it's long only. And so what we did is we came up with a 70-30 public-private split. And our mandate allows us to invest into any opportunities we see in the Bitcoin ecosystem, not just early stage, not just venture cap, et cetera. And we also have the 30% public component. So that means that we can hedge our positions. We can do shorts on the market. So when the market's moving down, we can still make money when markets are going down because we're not long only. So we can make money in different market conditions. We can hedge our positions, hedge our risk. We could do complex strategies, long short strategies, things like that, which one increases our liquidity. So instead of a 10-year lockup, we have shorter terms, better liquidity. And our goal is to provide a better risk-adjusted return.
Right.
Not just to outperform everybody else, but to provide a better risk-adjusted return. Most investors, not professional investors, most early round investors get that wrong. They're always trying to think about how much money can I make? What's my return going to be? Right. Whereas professional investors are always trying to think about managing the downside. Yep. So that's what our goal is.
Okay. So and then are you seeing on the risk-adjusted side that's people are now appreciating that more as we've been in the bear market? They appreciate a risk-adjusted return versus,
Well, we're hoping to, our typical minimum checks is about 250. So we're trying to attract a more sophisticated investor. So hopefully they already understand that. To your point, though, we've been raising money this year in 2023, which is like the worst year for Bitcoin and just markets overall.
Congratulations on rolling it out, though.
Yeah.
It speaks to your track record.
Yeah. So it when we first decided to go forward, some of the partners had some pretty big goals that they wanted to achieve. I thought it was pretty big. We exceeded what I wanted, what I thought was realistic. Mm-hmm. We've well exceeded what we thought our minimum would be. So from that standpoint, it was good. But yeah, in the toughest market. And so, we got the first one stood up. Because of our public nature, we're already showing profitability. No other venture cap can do that. So we're already showing profitability. So as we start to open up the second fund, going into a bull market, and with the performance of the first fund already, hopefully we'll do much better.
Do you have plans for multiple funds past this? Like you'll be just spinning up every quarter, or is it?
I don't know the frequency of that yet, but certainly there's fund 2 that's on the horizon, 100%. What we've seen from our friends that run TVP or 1031, that second fund usually is much, much bigger. A little bit of track record, the word's gotten out there, so to speak. So yeah, hopefully with this track record, fund number 2 will be bigger. I don't know about 1 per quarter. We'll see about that.
Are you working with? Have you started working with RIAs? Have you? Rick Edelman was here a little bit earlier. We were talking, just bridging the gap with some of the financial advisory. Have you started to do that? Have you made inroads there?
We don't have an active strategy to necessarily, go after that customer acquisition channel. Of course, if they want to come in, we'll work with them for sure. Yeah. Mostly, as at this point, our investor acquisition has mostly just been through word of mouth. Who they've heard about through our network. Obviously, the majority of the partners in the fund, we go on all the big podcasts. We speak at all the big events. So there's a lot of deal flow that comes, or investor deal flow that comes in that way. But
you control the YouTube channels, the channels on X, the spaces.
Take over the podcast, take over the spaces, take over the events, and kind of do it that way.
Your name's known everywhere, and that's that. You're top of mind.
Yeah.
So you have a contact form, and then you have to sift. I'd imagine the hardest part is sifting through the tons of applications that you have for new projects that come to the door.
Yeah, I mean, because of the bear market that we've been in, it's there's not as many projects and much deal flow in this bear market for a couple of reasons. I think, one, not a lot of people want to raise in this environment. I mean, not just in the Bitcoin space, but in the overall VC/private equity space, valuations are just plummeting. So it hasn't been, the last year and a half, hasn't been the best environment to go raise money. And so we're seeing people raising at lower valuations than they had raised on their last round. You never want to do that. So from that standpoint, I think we've seen deal flow a little bit less than normal. And we're just getting going. So our channels will get full. We'll see a lot of deal flow for sure. And because of our public-private nature, we'll have a wider wider view into the type of deal flow we can bring in. So we certainly will have that problem.
Cool. Well, wish you the best on it. Appreciate you stopping by today. Is there anything that you wanted to get out to the members, that anybody on the channel, telling about what you're doing, how they can find you, what type of people are need to be reaching out as far as if they're interested in the fund?
The first thing I would just say, as I've kind of said the last couple of events, is we're at a Bitcoin event here, right? This is for people that are into Bitcoin. And so these are sort of in an adoption curve. These would be the early adopters. And so we're the believers. And so it's if we as the believers aren't going to go invest our money, put our money where our mouth is, go build the industry, then who's going to do that? So I think everyone should start to think that if I just go hold my Bitcoin and go sit on a hill somewhere, Like the market doesn't just come to me. We have to go do it. So I just encourage everybody to kind of get more involved, putting their money where their mouth is, building the world they want.
Go build something.
Don't
just
right?
wait
They
for the
say,
Boeing to build.
You can either build your dreams or someone else will hire you to build their dreams. It's kind of like about your career. But in this case, like if you want this to be a world where we have freedom to store our wealth or transact in a way that we want to, if we believe in the benefits that Bitcoin could give and in realigning incentives and changing the balance of power for our kids, then that means we have to do the work on that today. So I just encourage everyone to do that. So whether you want to invest in these companies yourself, start a company yourself, or invest through funds, I just encourage everybody to do that. As far as how to find us, bitcoinopportunity.fund, bitcoinopportunity.fund. Check that out online, or just search Mark Moss and you'll find me.
For the entire front page of Google.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you out here. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out to the 2023 North American Blockchain Summit. It was the best summit yet. We look forward to hosting you again next year. If you enjoyed the summit or like what you saw in this video, be sure to subscribe. If you're interested in learning more about membership in the TBC, go to texasblockchaincouncil.org to learn more.